just quickly going to switch over to what I got prepared, and it should be right here. Just a quick correction, it's mass communication at SFU, no problem. And I'll grab my notes here. I hope you don't mind if I sort of switch over every now and then because I have to switch the slides. Yeah, I'm honored to be here. It's great to see faculty and get in touch with other grad students. And I think it's a very great experience as an undergrad student to be already involved in the whole conference proceedings part and what it is like to make an argument and present it in front of peers in the community. And that's essentially a big part of the grad school life, is that critical thinking and to go out and leave your intellectual silo and present it to the community and be inspired also by other arguments and ideas. And so, yeah, that being said, I think this panel really rounds it up really well as we're trying to explain where this journey can lead if you choose to. And yeah, so given the title, I'll talk a little bit about how I turned my passion, which is somewhat unusual in my area, into the profession, meaning I chose the academic path. And you know, a lot of you can go different ways, and so I chose mine to be academic and you know, pursue the intellectual part, but there's always other opportunities. And so I'm just presenting my way. Similar to all the other panelists, you know, I always talk about myself. So I tried to ask myself what it is that I could tell you, or you want me to tell you, other than bore you with my research, which is very easy because you talk about your research a lot in grad school, actually all the time. So I decided that I can't give you the be-all and end-all recipe, you know, how to get into grad school and why I chose grad school, but instead I want to sort of talk about quickly about what made my application successful in a very competitive program with only a couple of revisions every year, and sort of retell my story and what I think were some of the ingredients to that recipe, and hopefully, you know, some of you can take something away from that, and yeah, don't make the mistakes that I made in my first try. But anyways, first up I want to actually start with some good news. Grad school enrollment is going up, meaning more people choose to go down the academic path, at least on the master's level. I hope we can see the numbers, and the black kind of disappears, but from 2005 onwards we see up till 2010 a large increase in graduate enrollment, meaning a lot of people now choose the academic path, including master's and PhD. So statistically speaking, almost 1 in 5 now moves on from the undergrad to graduate school. So that means that probably a good chance a lot of you in this room right now will choose to move on, statistically speaking. Yeah, so yeah, that, you know, the numbers speak for itself, and it's increasing. It's a big trend, meaning you won't be the only one in grad school deserted in the office. A lot of people follow down that path. And my path actually started with a very curious interest for science and technology in relation to society and what role the media play. And I have a background in journalism. I worked as a freelance science journalist, and I worked for research facilities writing press releases. So I kind of saw the continuum along the way, and I wanted to make that my actual academic profession. And so, unlike others, I didn't have this big epiphany changing my perception, but I always kind of knew I wanted to, you know, research and teach and lecture and go to conferences and, you know, all the good life. And so I kind of arrived in Canada in 2008 knowing that I wanted to go to grad school. And yeah, and that's what I wanted to do right away. But my actual success story, in quotation marks, started with a big setback because my initial application in 2009 for SFU's communication program did not get accepted, and I was crushed. You know, put a lot of sweat and tears and blood into the application, and I was a good student. I had stellar references, so you know, I asked myself what could have gone wrong, and I got in touch with the graduate chair at that time, who provided lengthy feedback on the evaluation processes in the committee and how they sort of felt about my application. And it turns out that the ingredients were there. It was just really vague and too broad. I was sort of rambling on about all my interests and all my passions and all these things that I think are important for the scholarly community, but it kind of lacked the coherence of a master's project. And so I took that feedback in, and I realized that the Bachelor in Journalism program allowed me to focus on the social sciences part and add that academic substance to my proposal, and at the same time allow me to achieve a second degree, which would be my second Bachelor in Journalism. But I realized that I would also get the tools and the skill set and the knowledge that would help me shape my proposal into a lot better shape and add that academic substance that I was lacking. And interestingly enough, I want to point out one course. I mean, many courses are always interesting, and one course stood out to me, and that was research management and sociology, which I was told is boring, difficult, or not interesting, because it's sort of just generically, was supposed to generically talk about methods in general. And I actually found it was the complete opposite, to my surprise, which is a good reminder that we should not always listen to the opinion of our fellow students. And I actually enjoyed that class a lot, and it gave me that skill set to actually talk about my research in terms of the methodology. What is it that I'm trying to do, and how will I actually do it? Which I think is the centerpiece to a successful grad school project in general, to get a chunk that is manageable and realistically doable. A lot of us have great ideas and great passions, but are you able to achieve it in maybe a year and a half of master's research? Maybe not. So that particular course I want to point out because it really gave me that skill set and the knowledge and tools to wrap what I actually want to say. And equipped with that, I went into my second trial of, a little too fast, into my, you can see it on the right hand side, the second application in 2011, which was successful, and I got the admission letter in March, and I was also offered a graduate entrance scholarship, which I'm one of those people who got funding, and funding gets funding, which is a very strange thing to think about, but that's the way it works somehow. And yeah, and I started graduate studies more or less free of financial worries, and continued my coursework and finished that up as quickly as I could. Took on a research position, and if I can sort of recommend doing that, then mostly because of the reasons that I pretty much got funding to work on research that also feeds my own research, meaning my thesis work. And that allowed me to work out of the lab, move into the qualitative field work under a research grant, and to do that kind of research for my own work, but also get paid for it, which is probably the best scenario you can have. And I finished that this summer, and right now I'm actually moving on to the data analysis. I have, all this data, meaning all these interviews and transcripts sitting in front of me, and I'm coding them and trying to see what comes out. I talk to scientists about how they feel about the media and what job they're doing and reporting about science, and in my particular case about genetic science. And so I have very lengthy statements from scientists, and I'm trying to sort of analyze what kind of themes emerge and how they feel about the job that the media are doing. And as I'm going through the data analysis, it's in the right part, I'm hoping to start my write-up soon. And the plan is, and there's always a plan in grad school, right, said no one ever. The plan is to defend in April next year, and one of the perks of being on a research grant is that publications are definitely just out of the gate, and I'm planning on doing that for the next year, and then jump into my PhD applications after I sort of worked on the publication part and see whatever else comes up, and also figure out where I want to go with my PhD. Because, it's kind of a crucial step to decide where you want to spend the next 5 years. And so I want to take a little bit of time to reflect on that before I jump right into it. So yeah, I mean, that's the trajectory kind of where it led me. I'm not saying that it's the kind of path that everyone takes. I was very fortunate to receive funding in certain stages, and that allowed me to focus on my research instead of other paid work. I didn't have to mark undergrad papers yet, which I think is a good thing. Writing them is something, but marking them is another whole set of skills. Yeah, that's what kind of led me, and I could go on and talk about, what it means to be a grad student. I was considering talking about all the kimchi, ramen noodle meals, about the lonely nights in the lab, and the subculture of being in grad school and having seminars at the pub and talking about research-related things, kind of. And but I think everyone's experience is a little different. For me, as being up on the campus as a few, it's quite something because the community up there is very tight-knit and very close because everyone is up on the mountain. When the snow falls and the snowfall warning comes in and everyone makes a decision whether or not they risk staying on campus overnight because the buses stop running, that sort of creates a sense of community that, as Kyle has talked about, it kind of lays the foundation for intellectual relationships in the future. And there's a wild ride. I encourage everyone to maybe just do like a YouTube search, grad school. Humor is a good way to deal with grad school experience. There's lots of jokes to be made and conversations to be had, and yeah, to get a good impression on what grad school life is about. I think to come back to my initial question, what were my proposals so successful, and I mean, we know that timing is crucial here. Patricia has pointed out funding is an issue. You want to look at when we actually start certain things, and you want to take your time with doing everything. But I think in my case is, in my second try, I actually was a lot more focused on what I actually want to do. I started off with the shotgun approach of all my interests, and I actually ended up with this laser type, I like nerdy references, with this laser type question and research hypotheses that is a lot more, sort of in the academic part that I'm actually thinking is manageable. So focus definitely helped me, boiling it down to one question instead of a larger area. And the other thing that I definitely think made it a strong proposal was the methodology that helped me to actually talk about how I'm going to do it. And I think that also shows the committee that you are very well aware of the constraints of research, what it means to go through ethics application and do interviews, how long transcriptions will take, what the difference between a media analysis would be or a qualitative approach. And so I think that definitely demonstrated a big strength of that, and that's what I took away from the Intro to Research Methods class. And as I was browsing through the sociology courses right now, there's a lot of quantitative courses going on and qualitative as well. So if you're in a third level, fourth level sort of stream, I would encourage you to look into that, and that will definitely help you shape a stronger grad school proposal that looks a lot more like manageable and realistic. And I think we're almost to an end. The two things that I want you to take away today is definitely start early, whether or not is it your funding or your grad school application itself, talking to the faculty or the people you want to get in touch with, and that sort of connects to connecting with people, meaning the faculty at Kwantlen, which was very helpful to me, and also to potential supervisors at the program you're applying to. Once you have someone saying that they potentially agree to be a supervisor, that's sort of a very magical phrase. Once you get that out of someone, it's a big thing. And if you have someone already like that, that definitely makes it a lot stronger and will help you sort of move forward into grad studies. And yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot, take your time, be early, and talk to faculty. And yeah, thank you. I think I'm ahead of time. I'm going to hand over back to Kyle. No, I'm just kidding. Don't hesitate to shoot me an email or anything if you have any questions about the weather on campus or whatever. And yeah, thanks for your attention.